We pick up our campaign with the party using a powerful scroll of teleport in the massive city of Calimport. Teleporting from the Wizard Ward in Calimport, the PCs arrive safely at their residence in Waterdeep. As they prepare to scout the dock for Shelly Ember's ship to arrive, they haven't been back for more than several hours when there is a knock at their door. A thin, wiry man introduces himself as Basil Gilden and passes the PCs a distinctive coin, marking him as a fellow Zend agent. The party invites Basil upstairs to their lounge area, where they can discuss Zend business in private. After some small chit-chat and formal introductions, Basil gets to the point of his visit, merely hours after the PCs have arrived back in Waterdeep. Basil's most urgent information relates back to when the PCs went after two missing pregnant women from Velen and murdered ECAT's companion Carl and the two young guides deep in the forest inside the Orc's lair. ECAT has been watching and awaiting your arrival and has hired the mercenary party Apex to get his revenge. They plan on breaking into your sewer entrance this night. Basil continues with a detailed 3-part plan for the coming weeks and a new mission straight from the Citadel of the Raven. The first part is to defend against the Apex attack. Search them, retrieve a key to their door entrance at the sewer level. One or more of them usually wears a copy to this key. Basil leaves the PC's residence and bids them good luck. The party descends the spiral staircase to their basement and checks on Bella, the vampiress that sometimes uses a secret room in the residence off the city sewer system. The coffin was empty and consultation with Bella isn't possible, so the party moves to the area, off the door to the sewers. Muzahi has the zombies guarding their door move closer. Not long after the PCs get in position, an explosion rocks the door open, and several gnolls charge into the room but are slowed by the attacking zombies. Eventually, the zombies are incapacitated and the gnolls push through and the battle begins in full. Spells are cast, swords clash steel and men scream. 3 hours of gameplay passes for 11 minutes of actual melee combat. Fantastic. In the end, the PCs prove successful and the Apex group is defeated. Unfortunately, during the battle, Hera falls, but is later raised from the dead. The party strips the bodies and Muzahi casts Detect Magic and begins to identify items. A great score of magic is had by the PCs. During the search, the party finds a strange key on several members and realizes this is the key to the secret door Basil was referring to. Recalling Basil's plan, the PCs are to meet him at the Thirsty Throat in 24 hours. The PCs spend this time licking their wounds and testing their new magical items. Midnight the next day, the group leaves their residence and catches a carriage to the Thirsty Throat pub. A spilled load of logs block the carriage route, and the party exits the carriage and walks through the street of curtains. While making their way down the street to the back entrance of the Thirsty Throat, the party sees an explosion ahead. It blows the windows out of a ground level room and catches the place on fire. An old man stumbles out of the building and collapses on the street, still smoking from the fire. An exact match for him steps out and seems unharmed by the flames. He draws a dagger and moves towards the smoking, downed man. He tells the gawking PCs to move on as the man on the ground pleads for help from the party. When the group doesn't interfere, the man stabs the other. The man on the ground shapeshifts into a lanky, odd-looking gray doppelganger. The group continues down the street to the back alley of the Thirsty Throat. There, the group is accosted by the Jarvis gang, demanding money. The gang members that draw blades pay with their lives. Several fall to Reinhardt's axe, and several others to Hera's jumping attacks as the rest scatter into the night. The group continues down the alley to the rear entrance of the Thirsty Throat pub. There, in the busy pub, they meet Basil, who introduces them to Arlen, a thief of some renown. He will help the PCs on their mission to rob the Apex residents before anyone realizes they are dead. Basil tells the group that Arlen knows where the Apex door from the sewers can be found, and the group descends the ladder to the Thirsty Throat bathroom. They enter the secret door and gain access to the city's extensive sewer system and start to make their way through the foul-smelling tunnels. They encounter several carrion crawlers as they make their way through the tunnels. They manage to dispatch them without getting paralyzed. After nearly an hour of moving through the tunnels, the thief Arlen stops and asks the PCs for the key they recovered from Apex. Arlen opens the secret door and the group makes their way into a hallway off the city sewer system. Arlen disarms several traps as the group ascends a long stairway to a locked and trapped door that Arlen also finds and removes. A massive cave bear attacks the group, and Hara and Reinhardt are quick to put it down with minimal damage to themselves. As Arlen attempts to find and remove traps on another door, an explosion throws him across the room and the door slowly opens. Arlen's smoking corpse is checked for signs of life, to no avail. The group enters the room and finds some serious treasure. The group ascends the stairway into the residence and tries to get a bearing on where they are in the city. When they look out the residence windows, they are not familiar with the area. Muzahi detects magical items, and the group puts everything of most value into an empty wine barrel. They pack the large barrel onto the street out of the residence and try to get their bearings based on which way the sewer tunnel ran from. They hail a wagon for hire and load the large wine barrel as a few curious neighbors look on. They pay the driver to take them to their Sale Street address with all haste. As they leave, the street has several wagons and carriages out, as well as several groups of people on the walkways so early in the morning. No one makes a move towards them, and eventually they move through the city. Arriving at their residence, they unload the barrel and tip the driver for a job well done. Remembering the next part of Basil's plan, the PCs will wait for Sabrina Bellabranta and Elizabeth Gerardis to come to them. In the week that follows, the PCs paw through their new treasure and magical items. They spend time training at their residence with some new weapons and spells. They spend most of the time laying low, but a few trips to the market and local pubs cannot be avoided. Soon they are visited by the two nobles. The PCs invite the ladies to have a drink in the lounge, and both women are irate they weren't contacted when the PCs were back from Calimport. They are even more upset that Shelley Ember has double-crossed them by stealing the dream crystal for herself. They paid informants who told them she was seen entering the Undermountain at the yawning porthole. They demand the party complete their mission and chase after her. Muzahi smooths over their tension and assures the ladies their intent is to pursue Shelley into the Undermountain. The next day, the party prepares for a dungeon crawl of epic proportions, and with the orders from the Citadel of the Raven in their minds, they set off for the yawning porthole. The busy tavern is like nothing the party has seen before. It's packed with patrons. The large well and crane dominates the front as people are hauled up out of the deep, dark well. Several priestesses of Tamora heal dungeon dwellers in the room's center, while others wail in pain waiting for their turn. Other patrons keep track of the odds, and bets are made on groups that have been lowered down. Eventually, the PCs pay their gold piece and are lowered down the 140-foot well. The ambient light is long gone, as is the din of the patrons. Several in the group strike a torch at the sandy bottom of the deep well. The group sets off into the dungeon, and their lives will never be quite the same.